we have an advice of rights and plea sheet? It's in here. Which one? William. On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Richard Williams, file number is 22-02311. FY, council appearance.
Chris Martin for the people.
Good morning, Mike Mataloni from Mr. Williams, who's standing to my right.
How are you, Mr. Williams?
All right.
Today is the date that is set for a preliminary examination. My understanding is there's going to be a plea. I have a plea sheet here. It says the defendant will plead guilty to an added count of permitting drug consumption at social gathering under MCL 750.141A2. It's a misdemeanor. Maximum penalty is 30 days and or $1,000 in fines. There's a killable agreement of no upfront jail at the time of the sentencing. Is that accurate, Mr. Mataloni?
It is. And we, defense would ask for immediate sentencing if there's no objection.
Okay. And is there any
There's no
objection?
objection.
Okay. And you want to accept that offer, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. This advice and rights and plea information sheet has a signature on it. Is that your signature?
Yes.
There's no date. Can I put today's date on it?
Yes.
Okay, you understand the rights listed here?
Yes.
You have any questions about these rights? Okay. You have the right to proceed to a trial in this matter. You have the right to have a jury trial or a non-jury trial. At the time of trial, you have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to question, see, and hear any of the witnesses the prosecution intends to call. You have the right to remain silent and not have silence be used against you. And you have the right to call your own witnesses or present evidence at trial that you believe will further defense. You understand those rights?
Yes.
You wish to waive each of those today?
Yes.
Okay. There's some of them you want to keep?
Uh,
You see, you stalled there. It's up to you. These are your rights to waive. Okay. Anybody threatening you to get you to waive your rights?
No.
Anybody making any promises to you to get you to waive your rights? Are you currently on probation or parole?
No.
Okay. You understand that a guilty plea may result in a conviction that you might need to report to your employer?
Yes.
You understand that conviction may have an impact on any immigration status that you may be seeking?
Yes.
That count two of permitting drug consumption at a social gathering. How do you plead?
Guilty.
On a factual basis.
Mr. Williams, you can report your address? 501 West Orange Road. And is that located in Ingham County? Yeah. State of Michigan? Yeah. And on September 23rd, 2021, was your son at home? Yes. And did he have a gathering at your house? Yes, he did. And did you allow those people to use controlled substances while they were at your home?
Don't worry about it.
I don't have any other questions. Well, you did not have any lawful right to allow them to use those drugs, correct? Correct.
Any questions?
You said your address is in Ingham County. Is that in the city of Lansing?
Yes.
And I believe that's all. That's all that's out there.
For satisfied with the factual basis, I'll accept your plea and I find your plea to be made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. The sentencing agreement, I just want to let you know that's between you and the prosecutor. I'm not a party to that. So I'm going to let your attorney address the court as to why you should not be sentenced to jail time.
Well, my client's son has multiple problems. He's now in circuit court in front of Judge Dragonchuk, facing 3 CCWs as well as possession of some drugs. At the time that the police made this raid, they were looking for Mr. Williams' son. My client's position is everything they found in the house belonged to his son. My client owns a medical marijuana store. He does not use any other substances. This came about as a result of his son being arrested. He tried to explain to the police that what was there was not his, that he's just his father let his son stay there. So I think that's why the prosecutor and I were able to work something out on this case that I think fits the circumstances.
Sounds good. Did you want to say anything at all? You don't have to. You have an attorney. That's what you pay him for. Fine is $200. When can you make payment?
You pay that today? Yeah.
Okay, we'll get you over to the window. You'll be all set, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Take care.
Dick.
You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait.
When Andrew's in here, we can wait.
Okay, who's representing Clark?
Not I.
Donnelly.
Yeah, I'll get out of your way.
Have we seen Miss Donnelly?
Black.
Mr. Lauer on the Polycom.
Does she know that he's here? I don't know. Yeah, and he's been, I'm sure, sitting here for some time.
Yeah.
Hold on. We gotta wait till the case. Sorry.
I'm calling Black now, so
Yes,
Okay.
either one, or you could do them both if you wanted at the same time. if you
Sounds
wanted.
on the record in the matters of the people of the state of Michigan versus O'Neill Jordan Black, Colby O'Neill, is that correct?
Correct.
Colby O'Neill Jordan Black and Curtis Eugene Black, file numbers 22-02404 and 403, council appearance.
Andrew Stevens on behalf of the people for both cases, Your Honor, thank you.
May it please the court, David B. Carter Jr. on behalf of Colby Black, who is present standing at council table.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson, appearing on behalf of Curtis Black, who's present and standing to my right.
Okay, how are you, Mr. Black?
I'm good.
How are you, Mr. Black?
I'm good.
Okay, today's the date that was set for preliminary examination. How are we proceeding today?
Your Honor, in consultation with both Mr. Carter and Mr. Feigelson, it's my understanding that their respective clients will both be unconditionally waiving their right to the preliminary examination scheduled for this morning. This matter will be bound over to the court as charged in each case. The people respectfully waive their right to the preliminary examination as well.
That's correct.
Yes, Your Honor, that's an interesting move.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I've had the opportunity to discuss that matter with my client. My client has some pending charges at circuit court. It's my understanding that there is some type of a plea agreement out there that deals with this case being dismissed. However, I have had the opportunity to discuss with my client if in fact that plea agreement falls through, he is still unconditionally waiving his right to a preliminary exam down here. I've also explained to him through the strategy of the court, the strategy of the case, that this is an officer intensive case. In other words, the officers would be testifying in that I do not believe that a preliminary exam is necessary if in fact he decided to fight the case up at circuit court. He would agree with that and unconditionally waive his right to a preliminary.
Okay, and you're Colby, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's correct, sir.
Yes.
Okay, and Mr. Feigelson?
Your Honor, I've had a discussion with Mr. Black as well, and Mr. Curtis Black wishes to unconditionally waive his right to preliminary exam.
So both of you have an understanding that there will be no hearing held at this stage in which the prosecution is required to put on evidence establishing sufficient evidence to establish probable cause. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and unconditional, you can't come back and change your mind after it's over at circuit court. You know that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody threatening you to get you to waive your exam?
No, ma'am.
Anybody promising you anything if you waive your exams?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Find your waivers to be made freely and voluntarily. Both matters will be bound over to the circuit court for a bind over date of October 12th. That's not a date that either of you need to go to court, though. That's a date that the circuit court gets the cases from this court. They'll set your next court date in circuit court. It will be a pre-trial and your attorneys will be notified of that, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Bond in each file is set at 25,000, 10%. Those will continue. Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing from the people. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing from defendant Curtis Black. Your Honor.
We're gonna get you to sign these waivers. Thank you. We'll get you to sign those and you'll be all set.
Thank you.
No problem. Silencing, Mr. Nichol. Mr. Bomar Griffin is on here. Did you need to speak to him at all?
No, we're ready.
Okay, and then, anybody got any contact from Ms. Donald? Oh, that, this is a PV arraignment. Is that what's going on? Is he in Department of Corrections?
I think he said if it's, okay, I think it's Allen County Jail, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, that's why Ms. Donald is on here. The waiver form? Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Darren Lachey Clark, file number 22-01007. Mr. Clark, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, today's the date that was set for an arraignment on a probation violation. I have here requesting summons for probation violation from your probation officers, alleging that you were charged with a felony on or about August 31st, 2022 of breaking and entering, and that this constitutes a technical violation, and that you failed to sign your probation orders. And so you have the right to have a contested hearing on the violation. You have the right to be represented by counsel at that contested hearing. If you are found to be in violation of your probation status can be impacted. It can be revoked. It could be extended. It could be sentenced to a term of jail time. Or it can be continued. You understand your rights as it relates to the probation violation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and are you requesting court-appointed counsel on this violation?
No, just my PO.
Okay, I'm gonna enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf because the violation is that you've been charged with a new crime. And so you need to speak with counsel. You don't have a conviction. And so I'm not gonna accept a plea on the violation based on a charge, okay? So I'm gonna give you an opportunity to speak with an attorney before you can enter a guilty plea on this, okay?
All right. Yes, I guess.
I'm sorry?
I said, yes, I guess.
Okay. You were, I think, represented by Ms. Donnelly previously, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, we'll see if we can get her to contact you, okay?
Yes.
Okay, you're all set for today. You'll get a notice of hearing for the probation violation. I'm gonna set it up because I don't know what's going on with his other case. You're all set, Mr. Clark. Oh, there's Miss Donnelly. Wait a minute.
How you doing?
Hi, Miss Donnelly.
How you doing?
Mr. Clark, hi, Your Honor.
I just arraigned Mr. Clark. He was trying to plead guilty on the violation that he picked up a new charge and a technical violation that he failed to sign his probation orders. I'm not gonna take the plea because he picked up a new charge and I don't even know where the status of that case is. So I'm requesting he has some advice of counsel on that. So do you have time to talk to him now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. We're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Brian Bomar Griffin, file number 22-01768. Council appearance.
Smart for the people.
And Assistant Public Defender Scott Nickel for Mr. Bomar Griffin, who is present over Zoom.
Okay, Mr. Bomar Griffin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, very good. Today's the date that was set for preliminary examination in this matter. How are we proceeding?
Your Honor, as the court is aware, Mr. Bomar Griffin has some matters pending before the circuit court, and we've been kind of working through some moving pieces on that. It's my understanding today, Mr. Bomar Griffin wishes to unconditionally waive his right to the preliminary examination. People concur in that waiver. The hope is to package these with the other.
Mr. Nichol.
It is, I have had many discussions with Mr. Bomar Griffin about this case. It is his intention to unconditionally waive his preliminary exam at this time. But just so the record is correct, Mr. Bomar Griffin does not have any pending matters in circuit court. He has been sentenced in circuit court on the prior matter. And so this will be handled independently, but it will likely be in front of the same judge that he is under probationary sentence.
Right, okay. You have those files that they signed, black?
Oh.
They were supposed to put sign and then I have to sign. Okay, Mr. Bomar Griffin, do you understand that you have the statutory right to have a preliminary examination here in the district court?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you understand at the time of the examination, you have the right to have the prosecution put on evidence to establish that there's sufficient probable cause that a crime was committed and sufficient probable cause to charge you as the person who committed the crime. You understand that?
Yes,
Are you wishing to unconditionally waive your exam today?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, has there been any threats made to you to get you to want to waive your exam?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody promising you anything if you waive your exam?
No, Your Honor.
You understand an unconditional waiver means you can't come back later and say that you wish to have it. Once you waive it, this matter will be sent over to the circuit court. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're waiving this examination freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll bind the matter over for a bind over date of October 12th. That's the date that the circuit court gets this file from this court. You won't need to appear in court on that day, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
No problem. Your next court date will be in circuit court, but it'll be a pre-trial. Mr. Nichol will be made aware of that. He'll be in contact with you. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, bond was set at 2,500 cash surety. That will continue. Any additional matters, sir?
Nothing further from the people, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing further from defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. You're all set, sir.
Thank you.
No problem. Is Lauer in custody? Is that
He was in custody earlier this week. I don't know if he
you
remains.
said no? He's still there. Oh, okay.
And if we can bring Mr. Fagelson back in.
Mr. Fagelson went down to Judge Ward's courtroom for a few minutes.
What about Mr. Howard's? Is he available? He's right here. If you want regular, he's right here. Ready, Mr. Howard?
All right.
Yours.
Yeah, we got Jamie Mitchell. Supposed to be happening. He's here. It's not aggressive. Look at that. We're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Don Dwayne Howard, file number 22-02323. Council appearance.
Chris Swanson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Jared Austin appearing on behalf of Mr. Howard. He stands present to my right.
How are you, Mr. Howard? Today is the date that is set for a preliminary examination. How are we proceeding?
Your Honor, that's correct. We expect an unconditional waiver of the preliminary examination from Mr. Howard. People concur on the waiver. There's no firm offer at this time, but we anticipate the matter will be worked out at circuit court.
Mr. Austin?
That's my understanding as well, Your Honor, and we're going to pursue and continue negotiations at the circuit court level.
Okay, Mr. Howard, do you understand that you have a right to have a preliminary examination here in the district court? Do you understand the purpose of the preliminary examination?
Yes.
Okay, and that is to have the prosecution meet their burden of probable cause. So they have to establish that there's sufficient probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause sufficient to charge you with the person who committed the crime. You understand that? And you want to waive that? Side, as you said, yes, you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody threatening you to get you to waive your exam? Anybody making promises to you if you waive your exam? Okay. You understand that this waiver is unconditional, so you can't come back later and say, you know, I messed up or I misunderstood. I want my exam. You understood that? Okay. And you're waiving it freely and voluntarily, sir? Okay, well, I'll find the matter over to the circuit court for a find over date of October 12th. But that's not a date that you need to appear in court, okay? That's a date that they get to file from this court. Your next court date in circuit court will be a pre-trial. Your attorney will be made aware of that date and he'll be in contact with you, okay? Do you have any questions today? Bond was set at 2,000 personal recognizance. That will continue. I'm gonna get you to sign this paperwork and then you'll be all set, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Donnelly, was you all set in there?
No, that should help.
I am. I was talking to Mr. Clark. The Calhoun County is going to, it seems like they're going to release him to a drug program on October 10th. So it's my understanding if he's got, as long as there's no warrant, and I was going to ask if, because I didn't know when you were going to set his probation violation hearing, but I'd assume it might be the 11th or later. If we can get a personal recognizance bond on this so that he could be released if he gets out on the 10th to the drug program.
Okay, I have no problem with that. I actually would, I don't know what's going on with this new case. But I would like to set it out at least beyond his preliminary examination. Do we know when that is? Do you know when your prelim is, Mr. Clark?
My next court date supposed to be November the 8th, but our attorney sent me a letter, said I don't have to appear to that court date. But basically what my understanding with him is that this charge right here might just go away by me completing the program over here. This a year peer program at LRP.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll set it out and then that way someone can give me an update on whether or not he's into this program. If he enters the program, then I'll entertain a motion to dismiss the probation violation.
You said
But
when
I
he
will-
enters the program, Your Honor, you want to be contacted?
Correct. But for now, we'll set it, we'll have Mr. Hannah set it for a probation violation hearing after his next court date on his other file, his new file. And we'll grant the bond in amount of 500 personal recognizance. On this one, so he should be able to get released on this. Do you have any questions, Mr. Clark?
No, ma'am. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Thank you, Ms. Donnelly.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see. You're free to go, Mr. Clark.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
I think we're just waiting on Mr. Martin, Your Honor. Mr. Lauer, is he here in custody?
He's in custody.
Is he in the building or in Polycom?
Are we running an exam?
We are not running an exam this morning.
Probably was brought over though.
I was gonna say, Chris
Is
said
it LPD?
yesterday. it
He's in
was
LPD. We might want to bring him up
run
then.
one, so I got him.
I think we're waiting on one and then Mr. Martin leaving and the other. I think he's in that position.
You ready?
We got to bring him up.
Oh, you're very much cool.
Yeah.
Should we can address, well, we address them both, I think, so.
Yeah.
All right. I signed that already?
22-2401 first, because we're going to handle that one differently than the other case.
Okay, we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joshua Michael Lauer, file number 22-02401. FY council appearance.
Chris Martin for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson, appearing on behalf of Mr. Lauer. Standing to my right, Your Honor.
How are you, Mr. Lauer?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Today's the date that was set for a preliminary examination. How are we handling this?
Your Honor, this matter is set for a preliminary examination today. Yeah, Mr. Lauer has another matter that we'll address in a moment. With respect to 22-2401 FY, it's my understanding that Mr. Lauer wishes to unconditionally waive his right to a preliminary examination. The people concur in that waiver. Negotiations will continue at the circuit court.
That's an accurate statement of what we wish to do today with, in regards to that file. We wish to waive our right to this morning.
Okay, that's what you want to do, Mr. Lauer?
That's right.
Okay, you understand that if you give up those rights, that they won't have to put in any evidence today to show that there's sufficient probable cause that the crime was committed and sufficient probable cause to charge you as the person who committed the crime?
That's right.
So anybody threatening you to get you to give up those rights?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody making any promises to you if you waive your right?
No, Your Honor.
You understand that the waiver is unconditional, so they can't come back later and say, I changed my mind, or? Okay. Okay, I'm writing the matter over for a bind over date of October 12th. That's the date the circuit court will get filed from this court, not a date that you have to appear in court, okay? Your next court date will be a pre-trial in circuit court. Mr. Feigelson will be notified of that date, okay?
That's right.
Do you have any questions for me
No, Your Honor.
today? Bond was 3,510%. That will continue. Any additional matters on this side?
Nothing from the people. Your
Nothing on behalf of the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
Record of the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joshua Lauer, file number 21-03493 FY, council appearance.
Chris Martin for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson, appearing on behalf of Mr. Lauer, who's standing to my right.
Thank you. And today was the date on this file set for a preliminary examination, and how are we handling this one?
Correct, Your Honor. On this file, the people will be moving for an adjournment for good cause. And the reason for that is that the primary investigating officer, who is intimately involved with review of a video that captures much of the incident that's questioned, is on scheduled vacation. That's Detective Sean Martinez with the Lansing Police Department. There are some other moving pieces here that I can put on the record if Mr. Feigelson would like.
Sure, why not?
As the court is aware from our communications that Mr. Feigelson was copied on yesterday, we did instruct two individuals, Zachary Kirby and Robert Halleck, to appear today. They are the reported victims in the case. They did not appear. The people believe that the case is sustainable without their participation, but that will likely be a decision for a unit chief to make. For now, we just ask that the matter be adjourned to allow for our law enforcement witnesses to come in and present the evidence that is contained in that video.
If I may be heard.
Oh, yeah, you may.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would oppose that. A couple of reasons. First and foremost, the two alleged victims in this case, Mr. Kirby and Mr. Halleck, are not present today. They were subpoenaed to be here. In fact, people have had limited contact, no contact to my knowledge with them. I understand that the detective is on vacation today, but they still need these two people to proceed further. If I would be asking for a dismissal today, it would be without prejudice, so certainly they can refile this in the event Kirby and Halleck reeval themselves. I'm asking for a dismissal, nothing just today.
Okay. I just want to know, how can you sustain this case with just an officer on the assault with intent to murder?
Well, I would say that this is a unique case, and if I may just proper a bit, there is a video where an individual that very clearly matches Mr. Lauer's description is seen with a gun ripping off shots in the direction of the two individuals in question. Now, and just being transparent, I've spoken with Mr. Feigelson about this. Obviously, there are some potential hurdles with respect to things like identification and authenticating that video and making a foundation. But we believe that for purposes of the preliminary examination, we can do that with the testimony of Detective Martinez and the folks at MSP who assisted in the case. So we would like the opportunity to do that. We think it's in the interest of judicial economy to allow that process to move forward in the coming weeks, rather than dismissing and reissuing it. As the court may be aware, Mr. Lauer is currently serving a sentence in the Ingham County Jail. He'll be there, my understanding is, for at least another 3 or 4 months. And so to the extent that this is prejudicing him, I don't think that it is, because he's already in custody.
Have you served your sentence?
Yes, I am.
So then, where was the paperwork, Mr. Feigelson?
Well, the bigger issue here is, Judge, it's not about whether he sits in this file, it's we're wasting our time on another file where at some point they're gonna need Kirby and Holbrook for a trial down the road, and they're not gonna ever be here, I don't believe.
Well, I don't know if they'll ever be here. I can't speak to that because I don't see the future. But what I can say is if they believe that they have enough to get it bound over, that's my only concern.
And I'm not sure that they do, but
Well,
that's what the-
they believe they do. I don't know.
right.
You all know what the evidence looks like. I don't at this point. For us to adjourn based on the officer being on scheduled leave today, and we will, you had the right to have the preliminary examination within 21 days of your arraignment. You were arraigned on this on September 9th. This was scheduled for today, the 20th day, 29th of September. I'm going to find a cause to go beyond that for the purposes of making or allowing the officer to appear and present evidence. I don't know if he's got enough evidence to get all of these cases over, but I would imagine he has enough to get some of those charges over. But we'll see. Nonetheless, we'll get you a new court date. October 21st. October 21st at 9.
Judge, if we can move it to another week, I'm gonna be in a jury trial that day before and starting that day before, and I need to be here.
Well, we can't do it before Chris Martin leaves.
I don't know what.
So we can do it soon. I just don't know how long is the officer gonna
He's
go?
on vacation. He's gotta come back, right?
She had me, right?
Oh, she's gotta come back.
So we can do October 7th and 9:30.
Look at that.
You want to do that?
Let's do it.
7th, at what time, Aaron?
Okay.
9:30.
At 9:30.
If for some reason the officers involved are not available on the date, I'll let the court know as soon as we.
Sounds good.
Until 9:30.
Okay. Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing.
Okay, you're all set. Okay. Yeah. Is that Mr. Mitchell? I'm sorry, yes.
I was waiting for her to set a date so I could.
Oh, we did. It's in there. October 7th at 9:30.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Thanks, Steve.
Hey, Chris, President.
You're off on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. The seventh is
Thursday.
Seventh is a Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right, Friday, right?
That's correct.
You're right. The day ahead of us. Sorry, yeah.
Same to you.
So much.
You ready, Mr.
We are.
Mitchell?
Yeah.
All right. Call on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jalen Mitchell, file number 22-02287, FY council appearance.
Just mark the people.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Jared Austin, appearing on behalf of Mr. Mitchell. He stands present to my right.
How are you, Mr. Mitchell?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad that you're doing well. Looks like I think you had an accident the last time you were supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was doing DoorDash and the car sideswiped me.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. You're here today. And today's the date set for your preliminary examination. Are we proceeding?
Now, are we expecting an unconditional waiver of the preliminary examination?
Okay, that's correct.
That is correct, Your Honor. We're going to pursue and continue negotiations at the circuit court level.
And the people concur in the waiver and in the offers recited by Mr. Austin.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell, you understand that you had the right to have a preliminary examination here on this matter in the district court? You understand the purpose of the examination? Okay, that is to have the prosecution meet their burden if there's sufficient evidence to establish probable cause. So they have to establish sufficient probable cause that a crime was committed and sufficient probable cause to charge you as the person who committed the crime. You understand that? You wish to waive that hearing unconditionally today? Any threats being made to you to get you to waive it? Somebody promising you anything to waive your exam? And you're waiving it freely and voluntarily? You understand that unconditional means that you can't come back later and say you do want your hearing. Once it's waived, we send the file over to the circuit court for further prosecution. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Find the matter over for bind over date of October 12th, 2022. You do not need to appear in court on October 12th. That's the date they get the file from this court. Your next court date will be a pretrial in circuit court. Mr. Austin will notify you of that date, okay? Do you have any questions?
No, yeah.
Bond was set at 3,000 personal recognizance. That will continue. Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing from the people.
Nothing further about Mr. Mitchell, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, we'll get you to sign this and you'll be all set. Thank you.